ITBC, what's the deal? Well, another prospect. I'm gonna go with Hughie Fury, man. 6'7", 235 pounds. First thing I noticed about Hughie Fury when I watched some amateur footage and I watched some of his pro fights. Fast hands. He's very mobile for his size. I noticed that he won the World Youth Championships in 2012, so he has good amateur background, good amateur pedigree. Obviously, he comes from a fighting family. He's the younger cousin of heavyweight champion Tyson Fury. He's very composed and relaxed. It seems like in a lot of his interviews he came off like that, and he fights like that too. But he is very cocky. He is very sure of himself, and that's great because that's what I like from my heavyweight champion. I want somebody that's very sure of themselves. You know what I mean? So I don't mind that at all. There was some rumor that he was supposed to, him and Deontay Wilder. I think it was some months ago, like maybe like a year ago, but or not a year ago, probably like April, that they were discussing Hughie Fury as a possible opponent. I just probably forgot about it, but so his name has been thrown out there before. What jumped off the screen to me is he's still young. He's 21 years old. I like what I see in the ring though, man. He kind of fights like Tyson Fury, kind of. You know what I mean? He's very, light on his feet. He throws combinations well. He's a well-paced fighter. He's well-paced. He knows how to maintain his distance. Places his punches well. He likes to switch from orthodox to southpaw. As far as his professional career, he is 18-0. He is 18-0, and he has the 10 knockouts. His two wins that jump off the page to me when I look at his resume was the win against George Arias and the win against Andre Rudenko. Rudenko is not an easy opponent. He is not somebody that promoters, would want to throw their 21-year-old prospects in there with. Rudenko's other loss was to Lucas Brown, and that fight was back and forth. It's here on YouTube. That fight went back and forth. They took turns, stalking each other and giving and taking, landing big shots on each other. Hughie Fury fought a different fight than Lucas Brown did against Rudenko. He was moving, using his feet, controlling the range and distance, landing combinations. Rudenko did have his moments. He landed some good overhand rights on Fury, and Fury didn't go anywhere. Now Rudenko isn't known as a big monster puncher, but he is a solid puncher. He is a rugged guy that knows how to fight from the Ukraine. But Fury, he used his feet, he used his combinations. When he was on the inside, he worked a little bit, but I like to see more. I'm always saying I like to see these big guys work a little bit more efficiently on the inside and not just grab and hold and wait for the ref. A lot of these big guys tend to do that. But he showed me something in that fight. Then the George Arias fight, that's another fight. And not the George Arias, the prospect from New York, the kid, the prospect from New York, not him. But George Arias from Brazil, the veteran that's been in there with everybody. He just fought against Carlos Takam. So that shows you what type of guys that Arias is in there with. And he never gets knocked out. He's usually taking guys to the distance. So that's another guy that, promoters aren't really trying to rush their prospects in there with, but they do throw them in there with those guys because if you want to be a high level prospect, you have to go through guys like this. So I like what I've seen from Fury in that fight. And some other fights I watched, the Matthew Greer fight, that was pretty impressive. He looked like a 6'7" Larry Holmes in that fight, man. I mean, 2 words for that fight: body work. He was lighting Matthew Greer's body up, man. He was jabbing him with the distance, keeping his distance with the jab, moving back, and then he'll step in, pow, right uppercut to the stomach, left uppercut to the stomach. He just kept whipping uppercuts and hooks to Matthew Greer. That was an ugly fight. So I like what I see when I watch him fight. I've probably seen about 6 fights and a few amateur fights, and I like he fights like Tyson Fury, to tell you the truth. And when he's in a fight and it's a one-sided beatdown, he looks like Larry Holmes. You know what I mean? When he gets to pick and choose his spots. I like what I see. Now, will his chin hold up? All those questions will be answered. But as far as just viewing him as a prospect and just taking away the good and the bad, there's more good and bad with this kid, in my opinion. You just can't teach somebody to be this big and to be that fluid on their feet and know how to use a jab and have hand speed. And he seems tough. He seems tough, but we'll see once he starts to get hit on the chin. But he is one of the better prospects for sure. He's one of the higher rated prospects in my opinion. Um, and as far as the other guys on his, like his resume, I know a lot of you guys like, resume. What's his resume like? I mean, he's beaten guys like Matthew Greer, uh, some journeymen, Ivica Perkovic and Tomas Mrazek. Those are the same type of guys like Adrian Gannat and Dillian White and Schwartz and Otto Wallen and Gary Cornish and Pulev. It's the same type of guys that are getting beat by contenders and other prospects. So he's doing what everybody else does, beating the same journeyman, trying to have better results than the last guy. And that's the only thing you can wish for when you go against journeyman is just outperform the other prospect, or equal to, but it's all a learning curve, man. But I like what I see. There's a lot to learn. He's only 21 years old. I'll probably leave the link to the Matthew Greer just so you can see what he looks like when he's just looking spectacular. Then you can go from there and check out his other fights. I would probably recommend the Radenko fight and the Arias fight. YTBC, I'm out.